Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Jamil. So let's see where market can move and how we can plan for tomorrow. Last time we discussed somewhere if market directly open gap up, then we will be going to be wait for first half because first half going to be completely sideways to volatile. After second half 12:30 any breakout upside we can plan to buy on here. And you can see after completely sideways first half, second half completely market become volatile on here due to this Fed news. Because as you all know that Fed increased the interest rate 0.75%, which is I think almost 30 years later that decision going to be made, that interest rate going to be higher. So that's the reason that day is completely volatile, closing somewhere is not a confirmation which the market can travel. And today is the day market 350 point gap down opening, and we discussed some of our previous video for the Nasdaq 100 and 150 point opening going to be a huge gap up or gap down for the market. And one concept you should learn on here, if news market going to be effect that day, market will not going to be respect any support and resistance. You can see here after 300 point gap down, it's almost huge gap down, and that's a support. Market can be react on here, but due to this news, market do not expect this continuously sharp fall from here. Well, if you don't understand, if you didn't see any global news, if you didn't see any global data chart or positive or negative, whatever the news you didn't follow, if you just learn one concept, if you just trade one concept based on the price action that we learned in some of our previous video, we discussed if market become closing positive side, if market directly open more than 50% gap down, chances are very high that day market can become sharply fall down here. Based on that concept, even if you take a trade, it's a huge profit for today. We discussed, if you can see here on day time frame, that day market at least make a green candle, that means a positive candle closing last day. But the moment is completely gap down opening, we discussed that chances are very high positive market gap down opening, market can be sharply fall down from here, and it's a fall down market, it's a huge selling. If you calculate by the point buys including the gap down, I think more than 400 or 450 or more than 500 point for of travel already market today. So it's a completely huge selling pressure that to be on negative side. So let's see how we can planning for tomorrow. For the planning for tomorrow, market almost travel both sides. You can see here after on the, let me zoom out the chart. You can see after sharp selling, it's a pause market. After pause market, almost travel upside, even almost travel on the downside. Both side market already almost travel. And if you see the round level as a support, 11,000 going to be the first support for the market. That is almost near 80 to 70 point away from the fresh support. So even after opening flat, and even if it is for selling, we are not going to planning to sell on here because this range going to be a fresh support. If you see on monthly chart, 11,000 is the first time market going to be respect. So if going to be a test on here, so if it is first time support hit, no doubt it could be bounce back from here. So based on that concept, we are not going to plan to sell on here. Even if flat continuously selling, we will be wait to see the market closing, which that market going to be closed. If anything gap up, one condition we can planning to take a trade with a small quantity, but the timing should be second half, because you can see here first half market usually it's not a confirmation which side market, both side market can travel in first half. So second half going to be the most important. So big player trader generally prefer to trade on second half. So based on that concept, we are going to take a trade on second half. But let's make a plan. So for tomorrow, how we can plan if market opening gap up is 11,180 90 near on that range. If market direct open gap up, let the market accumulate on here. After accumulate this range 11,200, after breakout any kind of price we can plan to buy on here. Don't just planning after opening flat any breakout, don't plan to buy on here. After first price then you can plan to buy on here, because the trend is completely become negative. Even monthly, weekly, daily, both chart market become negative on here. So if negative market, if market need to be strong here, then buyer need a price action. Only price action if buyer can able to make on here, then chances are very high it can be travel on upside. That to be only for intraday, not for long term. So how we can plan after opening flat on 12:30 to after 12:30 any breakout after kind of price action, we can plan to buy on here. And 11,280 and 11,300 going to be our first target. 40 to 50 point going to be our SL. 1 going to be our target. For tomorrow, I'll request you to be wait. Don't plan to take aggressively trade. This is not place to take a trade aggressively on here. Even somewhere on that range, we also discussed this is the not range to take a trade aggressively on here, because market can, after accumulate, market can travel both side, either upside, either can be downside. So almost both side market travel didn't able to close anywhere. So for this, we will be better to be wait for one day to let the market close, which if it is closing on upside, then we can planning to next day to planning on buy for tomorrow. But if you want to take a trade, let this market make this kind of condition, then after 12:30 you can plan to buy on here. So I hope you understand this point. This is for the Nasdaq. Let's take the S&P 500, how we can plan to take a trade for tomorrow. For the S&P 500, there is not that much of range to move the market, so it can be completely volatile market for today, because almost continuously selling 4 to 5 days, even on the whole week. So market need to be rest on here. And if you want to buy on here, I would request you to take it to you can check Nasdaq momentum, because in that range, even if it is able to make a price action, 3,700 is going to be the important resistance for the market as a round level. Market can immediately react on here. So for that reason, S&P 500 doesn't have enough space to move. So better if we just to see the momentum of the Nasdaq 100. So I hope you understand all of this point, friend. Let's see which stock we can plan to take a trade for tomorrow. First stock will going to be the Visa. We can plan to sell on here. You can see after sharp fall down, first pullback, and it's a continuous for the selling side. So 188 after opening flat, as soon as it cross this level 188, we can plan to sell on here. $2 to $3 going to be stop loss, 1:2 going to be our target. And this is the first stock. After opening flat, we can plan to sell on here. And second stock will going to be the PayPal. It's also for the selling side. You can see all of the swing of market almost closing on here. This is the support, market already closing below this support. So this negative sign can be quotation for tomorrow. After opening flat, as soon as it cross 70, we can try to sell on here. 1 to 1.50 going to be our stop loss, and 1:2 going to be our target. So I hope you understand all of this point, friend. If you understand, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you, and thank you very much.